This is the simple NFT project from Speed on Ethereum, which we'll be converting to a mobile app using ETH Mobile. Following the instructions on the ETH Mobile repo, we'll clone the project. We'll call this the simple NFT project. Alright, so now that it's successfully cloned, we'll navigate into the project and install dependencies. This will set up the dependencies for the React Native front-end setup and the smart contract setup with Hard Hat. Alright, so now that that's done, we will be building our projects on iOS. And for that, we'll need to install pods. So we'll navigate to the React Native project folder and we'll run npx pod install. This will install the necessary pods for running our application on iOS. Alright, so now that that's done, we can navigate back to the root folder and I'll open this on my cursor editor. So I have ETH Mobile on the left and Scaffold ETH on the right. With a quick look at it, you see the similarity in the architecture, right? So for Scaffold ETH has Hard Hat setup and Next.js for the front end, while ETH Mobile has the Hard Hat setup and React Native for the front end. This is awesome because this means that we can bring in our React logic from Next.js into the React Native project, and we can also copy and paste the logic from the Hard Hat from Scaffold ETH into the ETH Mobile project. Alright, so now that that's all set, what I will do is to set up the smart contracts by copying this right here and pasting it in here. We'll get rid of the default. We'll get rid of this. Okay. And okay, there seems to be an error here, which is cool. We'll look into that. Then we'll get rid of this. And paste this. Alright, so we are copy pasting now. That's cool. So we get rid of this. We don't need that. And we paste these. Awesome. Cool. Now, if we run our tests, say we do a yarn test from the root folder. Yeah, we see that the counters.sol is not found, right? And this is most likely because the Open Zeppelin version is different from that which is used from Scaffold ETH. So if we check the Open Zeppelin version here, we see Open Zeppelin 4.9, and over here we see Open Zeppelin 5.0.5, right? So we'll have to match the versions. So how do we do that? So there is a command, add React Native, which you can use to add Hard Hat. So this you can use to add a package to your Hard Hat project from the root folder. So you run add Hard Hat, and we'll call this, let's copy paste, Open Zeppelin. All right, and the version is 4.9.5, and we install. And this will install the package in our Hard Hat folder or project. And then if you run test again, we see that the tests pass. Cool. So this just means that our tests pass and we can then move on to building for the front end. Now, to build for the front end, we need to set up our networks because by default, you're going to be running on your Hard Hat network, of course. We need to connect to the Hard Hat network, but then your device cannot connect to localhost, right? So how do we fix this problem? So what we're going to do is, first of all, let's run the chain, right? So we'll run the chain. You're on chain from the root folder. Then let's deploy our contracts to that chain. This deploys the contract. All right, cool. So then to get our IP address, we run ipconfig. Oops. Oh, yeah, mistake. All right, so this is our IP address, okay? And make sure you're connected to your Wi-Fi, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get this, okay? So you get your IP address and you come onto the ETH Mobile config file and you replace this with your IP address. And you make sure your Hard Hat network is running on port 8545, like this. Cool. So now that we have our network set up, we can get started by running the app server. We run apps yarn start, and then once that's started, in another terminal, we run iOS. Awesome. Happy coding. So the first thing we'll need to do is to create the wallet, right? So I'll go ahead and create the wallet. First, we set up the password, which will be used to encrypt the wallet data and also unlock the app, much like your MetaMask app, right? If I try to go next, it said, oh, you haven't even seen your seed phrase. Do you want to lose your funds? Really cool. All right, so with your seed phrase, feel free to steal these. All right, so make sure you write this down if you're in a production application, of course, but then again, we don't need to do that for this. And welcome to ETH Mobile. Cool. So if we head on over to our wallet, we see this is our wallet for ETH Mobile, and we'll need some funds to test our app. So we can get 1 ETH from the faucet. We see the transaction went through. Cool. So now we need to build our app, right? So the first thing we will do is to head on over to the home screen and get rid of all the defaults. Seeing as ETH Mobile is built with React, but for native, so React Native, what we can do is we can actually take inspiration from this, right? So we can bring in the logic from this into this. So with that, I can bring in the user account into this, which is not fine. And we can import this from ETH Mobile hooks. Now, because our wallet is in-app, it will always be connected, right? We don't need to have an is connected Boolean value or variable tracking that. It's just always connected. Cool. And then we can also copy this and bring this in, right? So I'm copy pasting from Scaffold ETH, import that as well. And this is the archaic way of doing things, right? The more modern way of doing things is like this. Cool. And we can also bring this too from Scaffold ETH and paste it, right? So you see, this is really cool. We are copy pasting from Scaffold ETH into our build. Really nice, right? So next, we'll need a UI. All right, so just a simple title and a button, right? So next, we need to handle the logic for minting NFTs. We could copy and paste this logic from Scaffold ETH into this app, right? But then a lot of things are broken, right? And that's because we don't have the NFTs metadata list, which from Scaffold ETH we see is right this giant array of objects over here, right? So what we can do is to bring that into ETH Mobile. So we could go in here, or rather we could just take this, paste that in here, and then from the home folder, from the home screen, we import that, and yeah, we have that now. Next, we need a way to handle notifications, and we could use the toast from React Native toast notifications, and yeah, we could do this. Yeah, we don't need to have this. Okay, and this, and we could do this. with a nice. Okay, so there's a need to upload the metadata to IPFS. Scaffold ETH handles this by creating a local route for using the Next.js API routes, but we don't have this in React Native. So one way that we can do this to upload the data to IPFS is to use Pinata SDK. Yeah, so Pinata SDK will enable us to upload our JSON metadata to IPFS. Alright, to do this, what I would do is to create a hook called the use JSON use IPFS uploader.cs, and I'll paste this in here. So I cheated. It will enable us to upload a JSON object to IPFS, and it will return us the IPFS hash and some other things as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we'll be using that, say upload, and okay, that's a mistake. Cool. Yeah, and with that we can say upload, and this will upload the token metadata to IPFS. Okay, and then we read the IPFS hash from the uploaded item, and with this now we can handle minting over here. Alright, so that works. So now let's test our minting logic. We click on the mint function, it uploads the metadata to IPFS, we confirm the transaction, and cool, it's successful. But we don't see our NFTs, and that's because we do not have them listed, and for that we need to create this component. So let's do that real quick. So we go into the my holdings, we create the my holdings.csx. Cool. It's just a very, very blank my holdings project. It's called my holdings. Nice. So now we need to bring in the logic. So first of all, let's bring in the types from Scaffold ETH. And next, we'll bring in the state management logic from Scaffold ETH. And we import all these, of course. Then we bring in these from Scaffold ETH too. And it's really cool how these Scaffold ETH hooks are supported in ETH Mobile, making it very easy to convert your builds. We also bring this in from Scaffold ETH. Yeah, we're bringing in stuff from Scaffold ETH. Awesome. Alright, so now we need to get metadata from IPFS. Now, Scaffold ETH handles this with the Next.js API routes. But then again, we don't have that with React Native. So how do we do it? We'll be using Axios to read our IPFS data. And the way we do it is we say await Axios, which will import .get IPFS hash. Cool. And once this is returned, I want to extract the data from the data object. Nice. Alright, so then again, we don't have this, so let's get rid of it. Alright, so essentially what we've done is to literally copy and paste the logic from ETH Mobile, right? So with this we can say if all is not loading, render loading. For this, let's use the activity indicator from ETH Mobile, And if it is loaded, then we render the holdings, right? All right, so from Scaffold ETH, there is an NFT card which we'll need to render. So let's create this NFT card in React Native. So one way to do this is to first, let's create the file. This is where we're going to use AI to do some magic. So instead of having to manually type all this out, let's just tell AI to do this for us, right? Because why not? All right, so let's say cursor, replicate this shite in NFT card. Yeah. Let's see what AI does. Let's see if this works. So now we can render this in our My Holdings page. So let's bring in this logic, and we'll also tell AI to do that for us as well. Right? So let's just bring this in. And it's like, AI, okay, I accept, and I'll import and cool. So now we've completely built out our My Holdings component and the NFT components, and let's see how this works in here. So if I mint and it's successful, does it render? Not yet. Why? Oh yeah, I haven't listed it out yet. All right, let's do that real quick. Let's list them out. Okay, something's broken. Let's debug this real quick. Alright guys, so I figured it out after a few minutes of debugging. The issue was I had my Scaffold ETH hard hat network running on the side, as well as my ETH Mobile network running on the other side, and that created some conflicts. So after getting rid of the Scaffold ETH network and restarting the app, we fixed the issue. So yeah, of course I restarted the blockchain, so I need to get one ETH again, and I mint, it uploads the metadata to IPFS, I confirm, and please work, voila. So you see, AI did a really good job at building out the user interface. We appreciate you, AI. Let's try minting another one. Let's see how it works. So we mint and voila, we got the zebra. Nice. Okay, so let's get another account and test the transfer feature. So let's create a new account. Let's get one ETH. Let's copy this address. Oh yeah, we don't actually need the one ETH. That was just. Let's go over here. Let's paste the address in and send to the address, and boom, awesome, sent. So let's check that out and say the second account, and yeah, so second account now owns the buffalo. Nice. Yeah, so that's how you build a simple NFT project using ETH Mobile.